Welcome, Foothills Youth. Today, I have two very, very special guests for you. And here they are. Boom.
Boom. Are we here?
You are live.
Oh,
You are
look
live
at
on the
that.
internet right now. How does that
Wow.
feel?
Am I a famous YouTuber yet, Nick? That's my dream.
You are now famous on YouTube. You are being seen by 10 people right now.
Dude,
Yes.
dang. That's
Man.
crazy.
How crazy is that? Hey, so last week I was doing this alone, and everybody was asking where Andrew is, and I knew where he was, but I couldn't tell you because they hadn't told anybody yet. But now they have officially told the world, so it's because they were having a baby, and most of you have seen that online now. So, yes, I can see you all kind of already knew that. Yeah, that's where he was and is now. So, I was not allowed to say anything. It was not my news to share. So, I apologize for being coy last week, but that's where they were.
I can
Hey.
see the chat popping off.
Yeah, chat's excited. Yes, a lot of you guys have seen the pictures already. Hey, Aidan, Everitt, why are you here?
We're here to talk about parables with you and share the
Sweet.
love of Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And, I figured it was fitting to kind of have you guys here on our stream because, of course, our youth stream is called Apprentice. And you guys, this year, were my practicum students, which that's kind of like an apprentice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Star Wars, man. You're the master and we're the Padawans.
Exactly. Perfect. I like the analogy. So yeah, this week we'll be talking about parables. We thought first, before we jump into, what we're talking about, that it would be kind of fun if we just played a game. So we're gonna play a game this week. We're gonna do that rap battle game again. We're gonna try that one. It's quite a lot of fun. So I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to join it. So all of you who want to join it, you are more than welcome to jump in. I'm just going to get the game started here. Just a moment. Yes, you're right, Aisha. Their baby does have a unique name. Her name is Saskia. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
I think
so.
Nicole posted a how to pronounce video or a post, and I think I got it right.
I don't know. As far as I know, that seems correct.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced.
All right. Hey, here we go. Okay, we got our Jackbox game.
Game, bro.
Excellent. Hey, did you guys have a good long weekend, by the way?
It was a really good weekend. What did we? Everett and I hung out once from a social distance. We had a fire.
Yeah.
Besides that, didn't do a whole lot, I don't think.
It's
No?
the first time we've had a nice long weekend in like forever. It's never
Yeah.
like May long weekend is never nice, and the one time it's nice,
True.
we can't really go anywhere.
That's very true. Yeah, it's. I mean, growing up in Ontario, we rarely, if ever, had a nice long weekend. So I totally get it.
What did you do, Nick?
Oh, what did I do? I did some grocery shopping. We're trying this new like healthy eating plan, and trying to do like lots of protein and lots of vegetables and stuff like that, and less carbs. And it was quite a bit of fun to do all that grocery shopping. I tried making I tried making healthy pancakes for breakfast, and they're actually quite good. So instead of like pancake batter, you make it with a banana and 2 eggs, and you just blend that up. Yeah, so they're like 2-3 ingredients. You can throw some blended oats up in there if you want, to make them a little bit thicker or fluffier. And hey, it was pretty all right. I thought it was good.
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds pretty good.
Maybe when this is done, you can make me and Everitt healthy pancakes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. Jordan Nord says, I got my house filled up with balloons. Yeah, Jordan got married this weekend. Or not this weekend, but last weekend. And was it last weekend? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. And yes, the house was filled with balloons. I heard those getting popped the other day, which was cool. For those of you who don't know, Jordan used to be my upstairs neighbor. So that was a lot of fun. Hey, let's jump into this game here. Ready? And go. Here we are. Okay. We are going to play. Oh, I can get audio for you guys too.
I gotta get
Jump into that room code. There you go. You should be able to hear it now.
I made it to the game.
Nice. All right. If you're not in yet, you can join the audience. There is an audience mode. And audience, your votes count. So the more, the better. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so join that room. That's going to be great. And whoever Dan Brapp is, you can go ahead and click everybody's in and get this game started. Thank you.
Oh, is that Caleb Blackstock in here? Do I got the grade A boy? Let's throw some bars.
All right.
Everitt, you gotta help me make some bars. Oh wait, I guess we're on stream.
Yeah.
You just gotta like text me, be like, say this.
Okay.
All right, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited to see what people come up with today. You know, I played this with my mom for Mother's Day, and that was fun. Yep.
Sounds fun. The moment. I don't have audio on, so I just have to throw down some mad bars.
Hit the suggestion button if you need help.
Everitt, if I were to be a Christian rapper, which rapper would I be?
Oh.
Aidan, you would be a rapper all your own.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You wouldn't.
What's your rap name?
You wouldn't be
Oh
anybody.
crap. I gotta remember what I'm now. Everitt,
Person, place, your thing. Person, place, your thing.
Okay. Everitt, thank you for helping me.
Anytime.
Okay, while they wait, or while they write their rhymes, I'm going to give you chat. I'm going to give you a word, and whoever comes up with the best rhyme, I'm going to give a point to with that word. So you have to choose a word or phrase that rhymes with the word I said. And your first word is... Actually, I'm going to use a Google random word generator. And your random word is field. Who comes up with the best rhyme for field? If you can put it into like a sentence, I'll give you extra points.
Move those thumbs faster. Time is halfway up.
And for those of you who are in the game, you've only got 50 seconds to get your rhymes in. Field, peeled, sealed, shield. Nice. Okay. Everett, are you doing both the game and chat?
No, I'm not in the game. So I'm
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yield. So you
Oh, I
meta
got-
yield. I'm gonna lose so bad. Isaac, that doesn't rhyme with
Can't think of
field,
anything at all.
so
You can use
I'm
that
sorry,
right for me, buddy.
but yes. Healed. The banana got peeled with a shield. Ooh,
That's my favorite one.
that's pretty good.
I like that.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
I wonder if Captain America ever was like just eating an apple. He was like, man, I want apple slices, and then just used his shield to cut an apple.
Never know. Probably.
All right, Connor Murray, you get 1 point.
Here's the draw. Check out who's facing off against who. Check it out. This is the first battle of the night. Let's
First
go,
up,
y'all.
we got
Yo,
Caleb
hit those
versus
voting buttons
Boomer.
during the rhyme.
What a name.
All right, if I'm not mistaken, the game is going
I'm
to
the
read the
greatest
rap.
as you can all booming. Faster than a car that is vrooming. It's true, my ego has its own pom-pom. My weird friend is also
Whoa.
named Dom.
Bars.
Nice.
Nice work,
Caleb, that's
nice
not
work.
you. That's a different
Now's your
Caleb.
turn. Let's get
A
it in.
different Caleb?
It's
What?
well, rather
Watch
it
me
is
work.
Caleb, but
I'm a
it's
master
not
plumber.
Caleb.
Every day I fix
Boomer.
toilets and you get dumber.
Watch me work. I'm a
One
master
Bamzu
plumber.
is my
Every day I
battle
fix
axe.
toilet. And you get dumber.
Skibbity bop noodle soup and pot.
What?
Okay,
I love
that's
it.
the best I heard, but it wasn't the worst either. Tell me who's the black cat, and then tell me who's
That one confused me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Oh, that was so good. I appreciated the effort. The
Let's get those
Waka
votes in
something was
expeditiously.
funny.
Oh,
Who won? Ooh,
wow. Okay.
Caleb, but not Caleb
Good
Blackstar.
job, good job.
Running clutch.
Hey man, please don't step on me.
Man, this makes it like
Now it's
so
time
much
for the
harder
next
when you've got
matchup.
so many
Where my
people in
two
the
battlers
audience. You
at?
have to write a real good rap.
True.
All right, we got Dan
I don't
Braff.
rely on chance to
Dan
make my
Brad.
own banana pancake.
Honestly, I might have to
Whatever I
vote
do,
for Dan
it's for
Brad
heaven's
without knowing
sake.
what he says.
It's my coronation, call me the queen of pop. I do so much more than hip hop.
Ooh,
Hey, you know what? I
First
like
time.
the
Never
I
come
like
back
the
in with that
inclusion
whackness.
of
I wanna
my
shoot
banana
every bolt
pancakes.
in your body. All right,
banana
grab the mic.
pancakes though.
Trying to catch me is a wild goose sniffing. I'm a win without whipping. When I'm on my cue best look, people are smart. As Oscar Wilde said, you're a dumb idiot.
What?
All right, peace and love. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right, now you gotta use your devices to find out who's gonna make it and who's gonna get slain.
Dan Brap all the way. I mean, both were good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not allowed to be biased or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
Let's get those votes
my
in.
banana pancakes were really good. I'm not gonna lie, they were something else.
Oh, who's it gonna go to? Ooh, Dan Brap coming in clutch. That's the moment.
Winner. Courtesy clap.
Everett, wait till you hear my bars.
I'm so excited.
It's
You
time
better
our
vote
next
for mine,
battle.
bro.
So we need the next
Well,
two cats
we'll
to
see.
step up.
I'll vote
and
for the
get
best one.
down.
Hopefully the kids get it. I feel like I use a Christian rap song as my reference.
Oh, we got Matt versus
excited.
Oof.
by Microsoft.
Ooh,
They so
Come on,
jealous
Matt.
they jumped off a
I'm so
lot.
hot. I got
I'm so good it's scary, call me
my
MC
screen.
Zombie. Bleep blurp blop blop declare.
fire.
Okay.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that didn't rhyme.
Better than that. Did you hear what they just
Or
said? Come on
I,
now,
I also
let 'em
don't
get
think
away
it was
with that.
words.
When I'm at the mic, no telling what
Still a
I'll
better
grab.
rap than Lil Pump though.
Why did
Still
the
a better
guy
rap.
keep that? My impact is massive like
Ooh.
a raging dog. Guess my name and I'll return your child.
Give it up for that
Oh wow,
major
that's
boy.
I think-
dark.
I think a number of
Check it
people
out. Now it's time
forgot
to use
that
your devices
raps
to vote on
often
who
rhyme.
brought it strong.
Yeah. It's a new flow. It's a new flow.
It's a new flow.
Yeah.
I've never been much of a rapper.
Really?
Probably a
Nick?
good thing I'm not playing this game right now. I'm not so good at the rhyming and rapping. That was very close.
Okay, good job. Good
Nick,
job.
I would
We
go to
got
your
you winning.
shows. You could be like
Hey, man, come on, watch where you step.
the Notorious Nick or
Where my two
something. We can like
MCs at? Let's
make
go.
a Christian ripoff of Biggie. You'd be the best, though. You could write rhymes with
I'm the ultimate
Lecrae
rule,
and
what I say
all
becomes
the
a
big
line.
names.
The ultimate lies become my line. I'm sweeter than candy, sharper than AI. Can't believe in fighting it after a turtle is play Aidan.
I'm fighting Aidan. Whoa.
First time around,
Whoa. You coming to diss
You gotta get
me?
back to that one.
Isaac? We'll have a rap battle.
Jumbo, you like my Saskia? She's so cool, she be flying. I am the Grand Marshal of Andy Minion. Incoming in hot.
I had no clue.
Oh, so Aidan, you know how we were just talking about
Yeah.
Right now,
rhymes
it's time to
usually
vote.
rap,
Start
okay?
getting that button.
I was
I'm
trying to...
impressed that it pronounced it right. It pronounced the name right.
It did pronounce the name right. That was impressive.
That like half of us didn't know how to like pronounce it, and the
You gotta
computer
get them
just knew.
votes in.
I mean, I didn't know what a noun was till 30 seconds ago, so I'm sorry, Everett.
Yeah,
So
fair
far, the theme of this youth stream is
That no one can rap.
Saskia banana pancakes.
Okay, here's your winner. Congrats.
Oh, I
That's
won?
what I'm talking about, y'all. Good job.
Don't need to rap.
All right, we're
Be a
moving on
rapper.
to round 2.
Let's check out those
Um,
scores.
I'll give somebody just like mentally, I'll give you extra points if you can somehow work in the final
All right,
ingredient
y'all, right
of my
in time.
banana
Follow the
pancakes,
instructions
which
on your
was
device.
agave nectar. Once they were all cooked, instead of using syrup, we used something called agave nectar, which was like, it was okay.
Is it better than like sugar-free syrup?
I don't think I've ever had sugar-free syrup, so I don't know. But it's like all natural. It's just whatever an agave plant is, and then they just put all the nectar into a bottle, and then you have it. It's kind of like the same texture as honey,
Oh, okay.
which is sort of weird. Nice. So yeah, somebody can work that in somehow. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but
It'd be very impressive.
I think you just get bragging rights if you do.
Yeah.
Oh no, I typed in. Well, it's gonna be great. Okay.
Wait, Julia, you quoted me saying rhymes usually rap? Did I say that? Or did I say raps usually rhyme?
Either way,
yeah.
it works.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah, rhymes do usually rap. Oh, man. Well, I guess I have to change my quote now on my name tag.
Hey, do we get cool name tags?
I didn't have time to go on Photoshop within the hour and a half we decided to go from recording to the podcast to you coming on stream as well.
Fair enough.
So next time that you're on the stream,
The writer's block.
sure.
Remember to use that right
Okay,
for me
sounds
button.
good.
Oh, we ain't got all day.
Oh my gosh, you've got 1 second. Matt, go! Oh,
Everett,
Matt didn't
at
make
least-
it.
Mine rhyme
Here's the
now.
undercard and main
That is
event
good.
of round 2.
Number
Better get
one.
some
Rhymes
money.
do usually
Okay,
rap.
Let's get our first battle.
Rhymes usually rap.
If I knock you back, don't get super mad. Because you'll be so glad.
Knock you back. Don't get super mad.
You recycle
Because
your
I'll
rhymes,
be
so
so
I'll
glad.
call you Weird
Ooh,
Al
bars.
Yankovic. Then I
You
can take
recycle
her
your
turn.
rhymes, so I call you Weird Al.
All right. Now we gotta move on. Let's go.
What?
Your turn.
I
Well,
love it.
It was a good attempt.
bars.
Yeah, I kind of love it.
You don't belong here, go back to your
You don't have to rhyme to be a rapper.
Oh.
You're just sitting here eating your coleslaw.
Oh!
No dress rehearsal, this is a stampede. Just kidding, it's cancelled, but you look like a centipede.
Oh my gosh! He called him a centipede.
Ooh.
Oh,
Boomer came in.
snap.
Now the battle is over. You gotta use your devices to
These battle raps are getting intense. Boomer throwing it down.
Yeah, that was definitely the most rhyming one yet.
Time to
In fact, he rhymed centipede.
I know, stampede, centipede, that was impressive.
That was impressive.
I genuinely did not see that one coming.
Me neither.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty sick.
Because I mean, Boomer, I don't know who you are, but you had a pretty rough first round, so
yeah,
you brought it back. You brought it back well.
Come strong.
Threw it
I'm a
down.
battling turtle.
Let's see it
Nothing
then.
compared to
Gotta
me
come
fighting that
strong.
squirtle.
Oh,
Listen
he
up,
brought in
fool.
Pokemon.
I got no time to jumping.
Ooh.
I really need to start dumping.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yo, you got it. Get back.
Oh,
You feel those nerves inside your nose?
that was fire.
There aren't any cause you froze.
Oh!
Compared to my words,
Ooh,
yours
ooh,
are terrible.
ooh.
Buttocks, 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 buttocks.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Well,
Appreciate you.
Not as
Really good.
Y'all.
that's
it
a
was
bar.
start.
And who did?
Yeah.
Get it? Sorry, that was a bad joke. That's...
Bruh. I think Ben threw that down.
Hit the vote
Yeah.
button.
The Pokemon
Pick somebody.
Yeah.
I'm all here for Pokemon references.
I was a big fan of that. Turtle versus Squirtle. Ooh, that was a tight race.
Here's your winner. Congratulations, Shorty. Good job. You know what it is. It's the next matchup.
All right, Dan versus Caleb.
Let's see it.
I remember you. You used to be a snoozer. Now, I just think you are a loser.
Oh.
You're like a cartoon.
Ooh.
A regular
Ooh.
Spidey boy.
Throwing
Guess
shade.
what? My middle name is Roy.
Okay, now we can track down this Caleb. We know his middle name is Roy.
All
Yeah.
right, it's your turn.
Figured it out.
You're as helpless as a tiny Samigavi nectar. But that wouldn't happen over here in my sector.
Oh,
Step
they did
into
it.
my kitchen as I make you on a pancake.
Ooh.
You know what I make is never fake.
Ooh.
Got it working.
Oh my goodness.
There's nothing more I
Dan
couldn't say.
Rap,
That
bring
was
in the
great.
agave nectar and the
Battle is
banana
over.
pancake
It's time
into
for you to
one
pick up your
wrap.
devices and vote.
I'm
Went in.
impressed.
Gotta give
That
to
was,
Dan.
unfortunately, I'm not actually in the game on my phone, so I'm monitoring it on my computer, but Dan, you can take my
Voting time.
mental vote.
Ooh, Dan Braff coming in clutch.
Nice work.
And our winner is you. Congratulations.
Now it's time for the next couple of MCs to get down.
I
Uh-oh.
roll in the club decked out in
Here we go.
pancakes. I'm a
Let's see
shaker
if
like a
Oof
milkshake.
takes it out. Decked out
How
in
about
pancakes.
this? You can be my lifeguard. Cause I'm drowning in this cashew piece of lard.
That's
Good job, Oof. That was pretty rhymey.
Yeah, I think Oof threw it down. I don't know if I can beat that. Mine was just so dumb.
Did your rhyme rap this
You were low
time?
on fuel, Becca
Kind
pump
of,
some
and
glass
kind
of
of
milk.
not. You know, I gotta
Cause
stick
my
to the
bars are
non-rapping.
sealed. You can't rhyme your way out of a paper dog. Yo, bro, you look like a frog.
Paper dog?
All right, thanks. Now we gotta move on.
What's a paper
What-
dog?
what-
I don't know.
Paper
It's
dog.
type in a noun, and I typed in a noun, and I was like,
But no, but that's not the question. What is a paper
I don't,
dog?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a chia pet, but paper. Instead, it's like a new thing.
Time to vote.
Okay,
It's a dog made out of paper.
sure.
Come on,
Whatever
guys.
you say.
It's like origami. Everett, did you never like make origami frogs? or
Yeah,
something?
but I've never seen an origami dog.
Well,
I mean, I'm
maybe
sure it's
it's
been
the
done.
same.
Good
I'm
job,
sure it's
good
been done.
job.
Did I win that? No,
Hey,
Oof did, of
watch
course.
your feet,
I
dude.
gotta give
That's
Oof
the
that.
biggest toe I've
Yeah,
ever
good.
seen in my
You
life.
did good.
All right, you know what time it is. Second round is done.
Someone said Aidan, that was hilarious. Thank
Now
you,
let's check out the
Maya.
scoreboard.
I appreciate it.
Damn, rap. Coming in
You know the
hot
drill. It's
in
the same
first
thing
place.
as round 2.
Okay, you've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Your special word to rhyme this time is Aidan and Everitt's names. If you can work Aidan and Everitt's names into the rap, bonus points.
I feel like this is gonna be like hurtful.
It might be.
I'm kind of worried.
You guys may want to just,
about to get
I can
Everett.
just like turn the stream off on your computers.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna take a quick break.
Yeah, maybe take a walk.
Wait, I gotta search up what rhymes with my name.
Are you Googling? That seems like an unfair advantage.
Fine, I'll do without. What rhymes with my name?
You can't say it
Aidan.
on stream.
Yeah,
Oh,
if I say it, then everyone will hear it.
Everybody else gets to hear it then.
Okay. Dang it.
Maiden. Oh, random word generator. Ready? Okay, your new word to rhyme is fastidious. 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 I don't know how to say that word.
No. You know
Fastidious?
what it is? I drank a cup of coffee that I realized was from
I think
yesterday
that's
after
right.
I
That's a
finished
big
it.
word.
Can't
It is
go
a big
back now.
word, which makes it even harder. Once again, it is spelled Fastidious. Fastidious.
You can't use right for me to have us fill in your line.
There is 15 seconds left.
Put a little pepper on it.
They're coming down to the wire. There is 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Matt didn't make it in again.
This is the final round.
Matt.
Here's the card.
Ooh,
Oh,
lots
Matt.
of money on the line.
You ready? Let me see it.
Dan
Let me
Brapp
see it.
verse.
Now let me hear you
Oof.
spit it.
Oh, Isaac first. Matt.
I've got to be honest,
Oh.
you're a huge
Oh yeah, because the
person.
final round they're like.
I
do
would
it
call you
differently.
fat, but too big for that.
Oh,
Take a step
Oh.
back before you get hit. You'll go take a nap in my bed before you wrap me to sleep.
Thank y'all.
okay.
Keep moving.
Well,
Grab the mic, yo. It's on you.
it didn't quite rhyme, but the second line
Is
rhymed.
that you? I got a whiff of rotten. I got this cause my bars be poppin'. I'm talking now, so listen up, General. You
Ooh.
can't spell embarrassment without asking.
That's how you do it.
I
All right, we heard that. Let's keep
What?
it moving.
I don't
Ding, the bell has
I don't
rang.
think either
Vote
of
to
those
see who's the
rhymed.
dopest MC.
It's always the last line. It always seems to not rhyme on that final line.
Ooh.
It's always good up until then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's get those votes in
Gonna vote
expeditiously.
randomly.
Aisha, you said I should be on a talk show. I've got an announcer voice. Actually, back in the day, I used to be a sports announcer from my university at Ambrose University.
And now we got our
That was
winner.
my
Nice job, kid.
that was my job while I was in school.
Now my next two battlers are
You
up
definitely
and
do have
they're
like
ready to
an
roll.
announcer voice. I can see it.
You could be
Thank
like, you could be a
You are
better
a
version
sheltered
of Don
puppy that
Cherry.
nobody
Be
wants.
like,
Aidan and Everett run fast deep
is that
into
too?
holes. Go on
Good job,
now,
Isaac,
run
with
back
the
to
win.
your place, so that you get out of my face.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I mean,
Ooh, you
it had your names in it.
Is that? I think it had fastidious too.
Did anyone
did it?
tell you that you were able
Wasn't spelt right, but I think that's what that word was.
You're boringly like a worn-out Everett. He has been irrelevant.
Okay.
Okay, that one actually kind of rhymes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
You know what? It's like a half rhyme.
Yeah, it half rhymed. It just, I guess it didn't totally make sense. But you know what? That's okay.
I tried.
As long as the rhyme raps.
But I'm not a rapper.
But I'm not a rapper.
Okay, sweet. I'm glad you got that reference.
Wow, Aidan, bringing in some cash money.
Bringing in the
on that
dog.
last one.
Cash Money Canada. That was a good moment. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the love and support.
Boomer versus Ben.
You want respect? You give me dog. Pause right now, you're like a hop. Dropping the mic because your hands are too aggressive. You're looking a little excessive.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't know what. Okay.
You hit my eyes, your face is so slightly fat. Maybe lose one of those chins, you rat.
Oh.
I'm not afraid of you. You're like a You don't even move, and all you
Holy
do is
crap.
Wow, Boomer, you came out absolutely swinging.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Battle is now.
This is like guns are blazing.
Use your devices and figure out who it is that was the dopest MC.
Okay, I'm going to Boomer. Boomer went.
was,
Boomer slowed down.
Boomer took a swing there.
He just.
Gotta get them votes in.
I don't know, Lucas. It could be anybody.
Oh, I just saw. Your wife said that my rap was not. She said no to my rap, apparently.
Best of the best. Time to prove who's number one.
I'm
In the
disappointed.
finals, we've got Oof versus Dan
So
Brown.
small it's the size of a pin.
Oh, come on,
I
Oof.
don't even need to try and them.
What?
Your game is weak. It couldn't hurt a tick. They call me Everitt's hair cause I'm so slick.
Ooh.
Thank you.
That was
I appreciate it.
That was good despite the spelling error.
That's all you got. That was pretty cutie. No wonder you smell fruity. My punchline's coming. Better hide in a safe place before you run. Don't forget to tie your shoelace.
Oh, snap!
Ooh. Dan
Pretty
Brown.
decent. Pretty decent.
Time to pick somebody to vote
that
for.
was it.
Let's get those votes in.
That was
killing it
those
today.
were two
Dan
close
Brown.
raps. I liked
Yeah.
them both.
They were both bars.
Yeah, those were hot fire.
Hit the voting button. Pick somebody.
Oh, Audra's letting us know that our Foothills Youth channel officially has 100 subs.
Oh,
nice.
Sick. We're coming
And-
for you, PewDiePie.
Dan Brap officially has the
Got your
victory.
winner. Let's move
Oh,
on,
Dan
y'all.
Brap.
Give it up to
Through.
the MCs. Now we got to see who won. There's our champ. Brought the fire and the
Way to go,
Dan
Dan.
Brap.
Thanks a lot.
Make sure you tithe some of that.
Beat it. Shadow Master is out of here, y'all.
Our youth budget will be expanded this year.
All right, there's your final placements. Dan Brap coming in number 1. Number 2, you've got Boomer with almost 800,000. Third place, Aidan Klukas. Fourth,
Hey, you got
Oof,
third.
almost hitting 500,000. Isaac coming in a solid number 5. Ben at 6. Caleb 7. And Matt bringing up the list there at the bottom with almost 300,000. Good job, everybody.
I didn't do awful, at least.
Hey, your podium.
Awesome. All right, how do I... There we go. Okay, we are back. There, that was pretty good. I was impressed. Some of those raps were pretty decent.
Yeah.
Dan Brap.
Dan Brap.
Man, even his name was kind of cool. I won't even lie.
Yep, that was. I was just very impressed. Dan, you're welcome to You're welcome to reveal your identity in the comments, or if you feel like your power of rhyming is just too good, then I suppose you should probably stay anonymous forever and ever. Because the city needs you, but they cannot know you. I don't remember whose life group I was in last week. I think it was the grade 8 girls. And they were talking about baby names when I got in. And I said, because I saw it somewhere I think it was on a Vine a long, long time ago. And I saw a husband saying you should name your kid like the city or something like that, so that every time you have to wake up, or anytime your wife wakes you up to go check your kid because they're crying in the middle of the night, she can say, whatever your name is, Nick, the city needs you. I was like, oh, that's cool. Imagine Gotham. That's it. Yeah, you name your kid Gotham, so that she wakes you up and Nick, Gotham needs you.
That's pretty sick.
That'd be so cool, right?
Yeah,
that'd be so sick.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I thought that was a really good idea. So,
that's a pretty sick name.
You guys don't think we should start naming kids like Gotham and?
I think that's a pretty solid name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty sick.
Just train the baby to like hit a switch, and then it like lights up the bat signal, so then you can see that.
Yeah. That's actually, we're gonna patent that idea right after this for a brand new baby monitor. It's called the Bat Monitor, and anytime a baby cries, a little Arduino computer picks up the sound and just shoots up a big bat signal.
That'd be amazing.
So sick.
Hey, so today we said we were going to talk about parables. And for those of you who saw and responded, thank you very much. We had a kid. Oh, sorry. We didn't have a kid. I was reading a comment. Sarah Sate, I think, says there's a kid in my class named Gotham. That got me pretty confused. We did not have a kid. Andrew and Nicole had a kid. But that's not what I was talking about either. I was saying thank you to everybody who saw and responded to our Instagram poll with questions about Jesus' parables. I want to encourage all of you guys. Tomorrow there will be the podcast. It's going to be uploaded. I'm going to work on that tonight for you guys to get it edited and uploaded. The three of us recorded it this afternoon, so we will make sure that that's up and on. I believe it gets to at least Spotify and Apple Music. It should be on Google as well. So anywhere that you can get podcasts, you'll be able to find it. And when you are looking for the podcast, you have to look for Foothills Youth. And it will be on there. You'll see our logo, and that's how you'll find it. So all of our answers to the many questions are on there, including there was a question that was brought to our Instagrams that I thought it was very good, and we're not going to answer it here because we've already answered it, and we spent about 6 minutes debating how it could be done. But somebody asked about one of the parables. If I turned the camel backwards, then could I fit it through the eye of a needle? If you don't know that reference, read the New Testament a little bit more. You'll come across references and you'll find it. But it's an old saying that you can't fit a camel through the eye of a needle. But anyway, yeah, we spent about 6 minutes going back and forth.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of time.
Yeah. We explore it from the biological background to the mechanical background of potentially it's actually the problem of the needle. But if you want our answers, please do go check out the podcast tomorrow, and I promise you will enjoy it. Okay, parables. Everitt, what's a parable?
A parable is so like usually we think of Jesus's parables, but basically there were stories that Jesus told to illustrate a point, or to just teach something, and so usually like a moral or spiritual idea, and Jesus he told these stories and he taught through these stories.
Right. Yeah. Aidan, anything to add to that? Was that like you're like on board with that description?
I think he explained it the best way. I mean, like all throughout the Bible, there's parables, and obviously Jesus was the most famous for explaining them. But yeah, no, it's a thing that goes all throughout the Bible of just like explaining stories in a way that worked for the culture and in a different way than you usually would.
Totally. Yeah. A parable is nothing more than really just a story with a morality behind it. It's a story that's trying to teach something, and often it's something something along the lines of a moral. Other words for parables, stories, allegories. Really, a parable is just a story that teaches. So, another question that and we're going to get to the why of parables, but another question that we had about parables that I thought was really interesting, and I'd like to kind of touch on it here, but are parables, are they exclusive to Jesus? That's the question that we have, because when we go on Google and when we type in parables, or when you talk to a pastor or a preacher about parables, often it comes to, well, here's one of the parables of Jesus, or here's a story that Jesus told, or here's a teaching of Jesus. So we often think about parables as synonymous with the teachings of Jesus, and they're kind of one and the same, and we really only hear parables in reference to Jesus and his teachings. But my question is, are they exclusive to Jesus? Is that term exclusive to Jesus's teachings, or is parable a concept and a style of teaching or a style of writing? And
Everitt, do you want to
now
give
you
your
may
reference?
give me
Do you
your
want me to do
input.
Yeah. Talk about what you talked about on the podcast a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So we definitely went into more depth on this in the podcast. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, like what we talked about was that Jesus, like, he definitely, like, the majority of the parables in the Bible would be attributed to Jesus. But there are some other examples, and we spent a while talking about the example of Nathan talking to David, and he tells him this story of this poor man who had a lamb, and he, like, I won't explain the whole story, but it's basically a parable that Nathan tells to kind of illustrate the fact that David has sinned, and that he needs to repent. And so that's an example of an Old Testament parable, and there's a few other examples, but definitely not something that just Jesus did. More of like a style of writing and teaching.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Parables were commonly used. They're still commonly used, really. Like, anytime you watch a kids show, there's almost always a lesson at the end to be learned. If they ever get, if you ever hear a kids show go, oh, well, I guess that means, then usually what's to follow is like the lesson that they learned from that episode. Or if they ever say, well, the real lesson here is, that's kind of like a parable. They've told a story. The story doesn't have to be true or not. It's just a story, but it's to prove a bigger point. And along those lines there, I see, Maya, you asked a great question there. Were any of the parables Jesus told real, or were they all made up? Really good question. I don't know if the stories that he told were all true, because some of them were told in different ways. I know that some of them, for example, like the parable of the mustard seed being like the kingdom of heaven, where he says, this mustard seed's planted and it's small and then it grows into something large. That's true because that's what a seed does. Or, for example, the sower of the seeds, where when some seeds fall on rocky ground and some seeds fall on thorny ground, and then other seeds fall into really good, rich soil. And the ones on the rock, they kind of grow quickly, but their roots don't get deep, so they get scorched by the sun and die. And the ones that fall into the thorns, they grow, but then they get kind of tangled and choked by the thorns, and they don't grow. And then the ones that fall into the good soil do grow, and they grow large and plentiful. That's also true. That's what happens with seeds. That's why if your parents are doing some gardening now, because it's going to be rainy this week, they're fluffing up their soil, they're turning it, they're picking out the weeds and the roots, and then they're planting seeds into nice, soft, wet, rich soil instead of on the sidewalk where they're stoned, because they're not going to grow at all or very well on the stones at all, but they will grow well in the soft soil. So things like that, yeah, there's truth behind them. Whether or not, for example, the parable that Nathan told to David about that Everitt was just referencing in 2 Samuel, where there's a rich man and a poor man, and one man has all of these sheep and the poor man only has one sheep, and the rich man then goes and takes the poor man's sheep so that they can have a feast and they eat that sheep. Whether or not that actually happened is kind of up for interpretation, because Nathan then goes on to say to David, you are the rich man in this scenario because you took another man's wife to be your wife. So whether or not Nathan is referencing a real story that happened before he told that, he's using that story as if it's real because it really did happen in a different context between David and Uriah. Because Uriah was married to Bathsheba and David wanted Bathsheba to be his wife. So he sent Uriah away to the battlefield and on the front lines where he was killed. You can read about it in 2 Samuel or watch King George and the Rubber Duckies from VeggieTales. It happens there as well, to the Pie War. And Uriah then dies on the battlefield, and Bathsheba is now free to be David's wife. So he was the rich man with lots of things, and he took from Uriah, who was the poor man with one thing that he cared about. So if that makes sense, the story did kind of happen because David did that, but Nathan told it to him as a fictional story about sheep, so that David would understand it a little bit better.
Precisely.
Perfect. I like this because I can actually look up at you guys and it looks like I'm looking at you.
I look down at you. Hi, Nick.
Wrong way, other way.
Oh.
There you go. Not too bad. Hey, I've got one more question here that I thought would be cool if we could discuss while we're here on stream. And this was a really well thought out question, and it's a question that I've had personally, and I'm sure lots of you who are watching had this same question as well. The question is, why is it that Jesus taught and spoke in parallel so often when he could have just come plainly out and said things? We discussed it on the podcast in great detail, but Everitt or Aidan, why don't you guys kind of take that away? Give us your opinion on that.
Well, I think the kind of final conclusion we came to, and obviously you're never going to know 100% why Jesus did what he did when it came to certain things, just because Jesus is fully man and fully God. And with that, there are some things that are us as humans wouldn't understand. But I think that Jesus really knew his audience when he was talking to people. Like if you look at the parables, a lot of them have to do with farming, and that's because a lot of the people then were farmers and had to deal with crops, like you said, and stuff like that. And I think that he didn't want to. Sometimes he didn't do it in that direct of a way because the references that he was giving made sense to the audience that he was talking to, which I think was smart of Jesus to say, like, hey, this is like a seed that you can't just like put it on a rock. You have to put it in the soil and you have to like take care of it. And I don't know. Am I missing anything? I feel like I missed something, Everett.
I don't know. No, that was good. Yeah, I guess the other thing we talked about on the podcast a little bit is like Jesus does get asked by his disciples why do you speak to the people in parables? And Jesus says that because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. And so we talked about this a while, but like the Pharisees and these other people who weren't understanding the parables had like their hearts were hardened, and they weren't open to understanding, and they didn't want to believe in Jesus, and they didn't want to understand what he was saying. And so Jesus spoke in these parables, and the people who did believe, the people who did want to trust Jesus and follow Jesus, they understood the parables, and they could see the hidden gems and the hidden wisdom in the parables. And so, yeah.
If you guys want to read more about that, you can actually read in Matthew chapter 13. The disciples say in Matthew chapter 13, verse 10, it says, the disciples came to him being Jesus, and asked, why do you speak to people in parables? And then for about what do we have here? About 13 verses, he answers them. So make sure to check that out. Kyra's throwing it up in the chat there. So if you are more curious on that, make sure you read Jesus's actual response from his words in Matthew 13:10, because that's why he teaches in parables. Another thing as well is I have always found things easier to grasp, especially when they're bigger concepts, when they're broken down for me into a context that I am familiar with. So things like golf or hockey. When somebody breaks it down and references it to hockey or golf or Star Wars or Marvel, something like that, then I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand that. Like, that makes sense to me. Whereas, maybe other people, they, whatever context you're in, for example, the people that Jesus was speaking to, they were farmers. A lot of them were farmers, or a lot of them had experience with farmers or knew something about farming. And so when he told them the story about the sower who was planting seeds, it made more sense to them. It made a lot of sense that, okay, that makes sense. Or, when he tells the story about new clothes on an old garment, how you wouldn't put a new patch of unshrunken cloth on an old garment to cover up a hole, because when that new patch shrinks, then it's going to make the hole even bigger. And so people who were invested in cloth making or garment making or whatever, even making wineskins back then, they would have understood, okay, that makes more sense to me, because he's taking a bigger lesson and he's making it how do I say this? Easier to understand. He's putting it in their context. For example, if Jesus were to come to those people, or like if he was on the mount giving his sermon, and he made reference to, blessed are the forwards and the defensemen and the goalies in hockey, people would be like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense to me. Or, he'll say, it's going to be like, when you become a follower of me, you're going to be like a goalie, and you're just going to have sin being shot at you like a puck, and it's going to just keep on coming and coming, and you're going to have a hard time dealing with it. And sometimes you're going to stumble. Some of those pucks are going to get through, but you got to keep at it. You got to keep practicing. Soon you're going to stop those pucks. Those people would have no idea what they're talking about or what Jesus is talking about, because they don't know what hockey is. But for some of you guys, or for people who are in hockey, you understand that, because you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's how, Jesus said that there's an easy path to walk and there's a hard path to walk. And if we want to follow him, it's a more difficult path. We're going to have to face things that are gonna test us. And so that's put into a hockey context, where if you're a goalie, or you could put it in another sport, you're getting pucks shot at you left, right, and center, and you're not sure how to handle it. And so that's taking a bigger concept and making it malleable, making it something that they can chew on. And then kind of a final thought is, we know that we don't actually win souls. We don't win people for Jesus. We get to be used by God, and he does the soul winning. He does the soul work. We can bring the message to them, but we don't actually change their hearts. God does the life change, the heart change. And so I heard a concept from the people at the Bible Project, and they talk about how the parables, and by Jesus strategically teaching in parables, it allowed those who God was calling to hear the message and actually understand it, because they were already being called. They would have understood the message whether Jesus spoke plainly or not, because it was their time. For those who weren't ready, who didn't have ears to hear and weren't ready to listen to the message that Jesus had for them, or rather weren't ready for the answer. Remember, we talked about that 2 weeks ago when Andrew and I were talking about our callings, how we didn't necessarily receive our callings right away because we weren't ready for that answer, and so we didn't get our calling right away. Same thing with these parables. When people heard them, some of them were ready and they understood it, and some of them were not ready, and so they didn't fully grasp the concept that Jesus was talking about. And what this did was two things. One, it still gave the message to those who were ready to hear it. Two, for those who weren't ready to hear it, it still gave them something to chew on so that they could think about it and then eventually be ready to understand it, which also allowed him to have more time to do his ministry, because the Pharisees, who didn't really have ears to hear, they were trying to catch Jesus in theological and logical traps. It gave him, according to the Bible Project, they say it actually gave Jesus more time to do his ministry, because the Pharisees, those who were out to get him, the Pharisees and Sadducees, didn't actually understand what he was talking about, and so they didn't really have any evidence or ammunition against him at the time to put him in jail. So I thought that was a really interesting way to explain the use of parables, and how there's so many uses of parables on so many different levels, and just how strategic they were in the time of Jesus. So, to conclude, what's your guys' favorite parables?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead. Whatever side you're on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me, it keeps changing. I'll just go with the one that I said in the podcast, but I think the parable of the talents has always been one that's really stood out to me. And yeah, this idea of just being faithful with what we've been given, and if we're faithful with what we've been given, we'll be given more. And yeah, I don't know. I like that idea, and I think it gives a lot of encouragement and a lot of conviction at times too. But it's a good parable.
And I mean, for me, I've said that I really liked the story of the lost sheep, but I feel like the one that I like the most is the mustard seed. And I liked it a lot because it reminds us that like God uses the weak and makes it strong, and like takes something and it brings fruit and makes it flourish. And I think that that's a cool idea that like we can be used and be made stronger by God, or that's how I read it. But
Cool. Before I say mine, to answer Jordan's question, am I a Calvinist? I don't think I'm. I don't think I'm anything. I'm a disciple right now. And not. I'm not trying to say that as like a. That's a more theological answer. I just don't like taking hard stances on that because I always reserve the right that I'm wrong. I could be wrong about things, and that's okay with me. In fact, I usually hope that I am, because when I'm wrong, it means I get to learn more. And that's exciting. The more I'm wrong, the better for myself, because the more I'm wrong, the more God has to teach me, and the more teaching I get from God, and the more time I spend with him. So I'm very happy to just kind of always reserve the right that I'm wrong. But my favorite parable is just like Audra, mine is also the Good Samaritan. And you can listen to the podcast and kind of hear my bigger explanation. But right now I'm finding that one is currently the one that I'm learning the most from. And I think that I think that if you were to ask me again in like 4 or 5 months, I'll probably have a new one, because I'll be learning something else at that time. But right now I feel like God is teaching me and speaking to me through the Good Samaritan parable. And then I'm sure he'll speak to me and teach me through a different one later, another time. But yeah, right now I would say the Good Samaritan. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm glad you guys were able to join us. I know our time as a practicum student and practicum mentor got cut a little bit short, but hey, this is a pretty good way to kind of keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, we love hanging out with you and talking about God, so.
Did you hear that, everybody? They think I'm cool.
No, I don't think he said that.
Okay. That's fair. I think I'm cool, and that's really all that matters. As long as I think I'm cool and funny, then I'm cool and funny. Hey guys, you all received an email this week about our Zoom meetings. So if you don't know the password, please go check that email. It is on the password. Thank you. I also think I'm cool and funny. Yeah, make sure you check that. You guys can jump into it, and I will start. The grade 6 girls, if you need the Zoom password, please contact your leaders. They will give it to you. You can contact me, but I'm going to be putting everybody else into their groups. So that will be a little bit delayed. For those of you, if any of you are new and you're in grade 6 or you're in grade 9 and you're girls, just log on to the general Zoom chat and or send me a message or something like that, and we'll get you set up, because the grade 9 girls and grade 6 girls are in a different chat. So yeah, that's all there is. So thanks again, guys, for joining us, and I'll see you on Zoom in like 2 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.